everybody. The update from Washington this week. We worked on one bill, and I know one of the guys kind of remarked, it was kind of funny in a way, but sad in a way too. He said, I guess the House of Representatives is acting like the Senate now. We've spent a whole week on one bill, but it was called H.R. 1. It was called the For the People Act. I don't really think it's much for the people. It was about elections and campaign financing. So just to be clear, the bill passed, but I voted against it, and I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. There are numerous, but one of the reasons why is that for small donations, the bill required that there be a match from the government and or taxpayers. So the way it works is anything under $200, you'd be matched. Your campaign would be matched by the government. Now, the government would be collecting money from corporations that had broken the law. But if they ran out of money, then it would have to come to the taxpayers to pay the difference. And again, it's a 6-to-1 match. And I just think about that, among other things. Are you already sick of the mail, the robocalls, and the advertisements on TV? And then to know that you're paying for them for somebody that you don't even support, you're having to help pay for them. So that certainly seemed problematic to me. And also the reporting requirements for some organizations and some individuals, but not others. So this is one of the reasons that everybody from the ACLU to the National Right to Life to the NRA disapproved of this bill and didn't, they were working against it and urged a no vote on it. So if you made, a $5 contribution to one of these organizations, specific ones, they would have to be reported. And with all due respect, this is a free speech issue. Well, people have the right to donate to organizations and to freely assemble. What we don't want to do is encourage people that dislike that organization to go visit those homes. It's one thing to go visit. Let's say you don't like the National Rifle Association. All right, well, go picket and protest there. Or Planned Parenthood. God bless you. Go picket and protest there. But then to take that further and divulge who their contributors are would bring people to those homes. So that's another reason. How about this? It was the federal election takeover of the election, the federal takeover of the election process. And if you're familiar with the Constitution, elections are handled by the states. We don't really need the federal government doing. The states do pretty well. And from a security standpoint, one of the reasons that our election system is so secure is because it's so decentralized. If you think about it, every municipality, every county, every state has their own decentralized system, so it's really hard to change for foreign entities to hack in and do dirty work in our election process. So that was the bill. It took us all week. I voted no on it. There was a motion to recommit, which said that we don't believe that people here illegally should be allowed to vote and that it dilutes the rightful vote of American citizens. That motion was offered by Republicans. It did not pass. Only Republicans voted for that. We couldn't get Democrats to vote for that, even though they voted for that last year. So this is becoming a fundamental argument regarding immigration and who has the right to vote, and not only immigration, but illegal immigration, because there are two different forms. The immigration where you come in legally, and then when you cross the border illegally. And if you are here illegally, should you have the right to vote? So that was the big number one issue for the week. The other thing, and I just want to get it right because it changed a couple times over the course of the week, House Resolution 183 condemning bigotry, hatred, and intolerance was a bill that changed on a couple occasions. There have been members of Congress that have made anti-Semitic remarks, which, look, this is America. You're free to dislike and like what you dislike and what you like. If you dislike lima beans, God bless you. You can go ahead and dislike them. But it is interesting, and I think it's a different standard when members of our federal government are making statements about a certain group of people in the United States, particularly Jewish people. And so there was this resolution sought by the majority party to condemn those statements, because one individual in particular and a couple others have been saying these things, and they're publicly elected officials speaking on behalf of the American people and the United States government. But because the majority party, the Democrat Party, couldn't work it out, they couldn't come to an agreement on anti-Semitism, it was made essentially so that we're opposed to every kind of bigotry and racism, which is great. I think we should be opposed to bigotry and racism in all forms, but it does dilute the particular issue, which is bigotry and anti-Semitism in particular, and one individual in particular that had made these remarks and has continued to make these remarks. But that's with the watered down bill, so it doesn't change anything. It doesn't do anything. Nobody got punished. We just made a statement that we oppose those things, which most Americans do, and rightly so, except for maybe a couple that are serving in Congress and didn't want to be called out on it. So that was the week in general, and we'll see what happens next week. And with that, I hope you have a great and safe week. God bless you.